You keep digging, I think, is how you know whether to believe, what to believe. And I do think that, everyone wants a magic list. You want a list of, oh, here are the go-to sources, and I'm only going to trust what the New York Times says, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, whatever. Obviously, to go to a place that you know has a system in place. The New Yorker, any paper of record certainly has a system, an editorial system, whereby managing editors and editors are constantly talking to their authors and saying, how do you know this? How do you know this? Who's this anonymous source? Those are, again, the papers of record, the ones that we should always go to and think about. But what I find is that the most important thing is that you have to always try to find out who is the expert in this. I'm not an expert in anything besides checking at this point. And so I'd need to call Glenn. I'd need to sort of go to the person who understands the subject. I'd need to talk to the lawyer. I'd need to talk to the person. And sometimes that person is not the person who wrote the article for New Yorker. Sometimes it is the person who is on the ground and who knows about the terrible thing that happened in Bangladesh that day, and they know all the people and they've been studying it for a while. So it's it's the bullseye effect, that you go to the center of where the person who knows that information and is the expert in it. But it's also in the triangulation of data. Like for anything that we're trying to understand, you go to multiple sources so that if, obviously every place has its own bias, so then you need to go to one side and then to the other side and then to read a few more, to talk to a few experts, to talk to a few scientists, to talk to a few doctors, to understand where the truth is. And oftentimes the truth is somewhere in the middle there. So there is that, it's the mechanism, and a checker is only basically acting in part as a, sort of a guardian angel behind an author to sort of say, so where did you get this? And how do you know it's true? And do you really think, I know you're sort of, I know your husband is in this field, so let's talk about that. That's sort of an issue that, you must have your own bias that you bring to this. So again, it's in the conversation. We're gatekeepers of a sort. We try to find the correct information by going to multiple sources. We try to have a conversation with the author to know what they're basing it on. We go to the books and we read the books and we bring up other questions that are imperative to it. And you talk about sort of books. Obviously, most books are not fact-checked. Nothing on the web, for all intents and purposes, is fact-checked, except if it's coming from a really strong, reliable source. But for books, you look at who the author is. Are they an expert in their field? Do they have pages and pages of footnotes? Let's look to the footnote. Let's go to the original source in order to understand if that really is accurate or not. Again, there's no magic pill. It's time and work.